Hello lovelies, welcome to a new video. So I had a few people request that I do a Superman ASMR review. I've done a couple of these before, so if you like Superman, I will say this video will contain spoilers for the movie, reviewing Superman 2025, so spoiler warning. I do not want to be responsible for the spoils. Okay? Go away. Come back when you watch the movie. Okay, so I've only seen the movie once, so bear with me on a review. Overall, I was very happy with this movie and I enjoyed it. The cast is super, pun intended. The cast is fantastic. Everybody's really good. I think David is a really good Superman, like a very, I don't know, just upbeat Superman, and something that we needed these days from, instead of like a darker Superman, right? But really, I didn't have a problem with pretty much anybody in the cast. Lois is great, Lex is great, Guy, Mr. Terrific, Hawkgirl, like pretty much everybody you see in this, I think did a really good job. So a great ensemble for a cast in this movie. This movie, of course, being kind of a big deal of like restarting DC potentially, you know, with James Gunn taking the lead and hopefully building on this movie for more successful DC films, which I would love to see. I'm a huge DC fan, and to see it drop off as it has in recent years has been very disappointing. So I'm hopeful with this start and future movies to play off of this. But focusing back on Superman, I appreciated that this movie is not an origin story, because we've seen that a million times, and most of us know Superman's origins. Even if you're not like a comic fan, you probably know Superman's basic story. So we've seen that a lot. So they just summed it up in the credits, the opening credits of the time that metahumans have been on Earth, and when Krypton exploded, and when Superman came to Earth, and all this stuff, right? And when he came out, and what Clark's been up to. So I appreciated that. I also appreciated that Lois already knows who he is, because again, that's another storyline we've seen a lot of Lois figuring out Clark is Superman. Spoilers. But it was nice to kind of maybe skip that a little bit and move into a different part of their relationship, even though in this movie their relationship is still fairly new. I think they said they've like been dating like 3 months, so still newish, but I liked that aspect of this movie. Mr. Terrific was fantastic in this movie. Terrific. He definitely is a scene stealer. He did a really good job, and like every moment that he was on the screen, I was just like fascinated by him. So I can't wait to see more of Mr. Terrific. I loved seeing the Hall of Justice in this movie, and it was like they didn't redesign it or anything. I mean, it was like straight out of the cartoon, I feel like, for the Hall of Justice and what have you. Guy is perfectly cast, I think, and like he looks exactly what he's supposed to look like, even though it is obnoxiously horrible. But he was funny and entertaining. Hawkgirl, I really like the look they've given her and her scream, and pretty much the characters that they've introduced in this movie, I liked all of them. So that's another positive when you're kind of starting a new DC universe, if you will. I also really liked Metamorpho. I am not very familiar with his character, though. I kind of had to like look him up after I saw the movie. So, but I really liked him. I'd hope to see him in more stuff. Thought the actor did a really good job. The character itself was like really interesting. So, didn't know much about him, but I definitely enjoyed him in this. And his little cute little baby, his little baby that might have a little bit of trauma, because that baby went through a lot while Superman's holding him. Poor child. I did see some people were complaining about like Ma and Pa Kent, and I will fight you. What do you mean you're complaining about them? They are sweethearts, as they should be. Leave them alone. They're adorable. I think the only thing that I was shocked by with them is that he was alive. I was like, Clark's dad is alive. Like, that's a first, right? We always have to watch him die. But leave them alone. They're so cute. And the talk that Pa Kent and Clark had was so good and like so emotional. It was just beautiful. It was just a beautiful scene. So in that aspect, happy that he's still around. And of course, having to do with his parents and whatnot. Jumping to the end of the movie, I really loved the footage of him as a kid growing up with them in Kansas. It was just so cute, and oh, they're so cute, and I love it so much, and they're the reason why he's the good man he is today, and I love that aspect. Superman's speech to Lex about being human and the making mistakes and all that was another part that really got me. It was so heartfelt and was so good. There was a lot of moments like that. Some people were saying like there were too many jokes in this movie. I didn't feel that way at all. There were some parts that definitely made me laugh, but there was like some more like heartfelt moments. So I don't really think that it was like overly funny, I guess, or what have you. I thought it was a nice balance. Lex was a great villain in this, as Lex does, but Nicholas Hoult, I think, did a really good job. I mean, he was kind of like petty, but dark and like scary. His acting was really good for this, and you had kind of like some of like the dark humor with some of his lines and whatnot, but then like he really got into like the anger he had for Superman and like what he would do to take Superman down. And what have you. So I think he did a really good job as Lex. The fact that in this, his parents are basically like evil or whatever. Jor-El is not good in this. I didn't really mind. I didn't really have a problem with it. I thought it was an interesting backstory, and so since I didn't mind it, I'm glad that they didn't like correct it at the end of the movie, like being like, oh, Lex edited the footage. No, like maybe his parents were like that, and that like shows why Clark is different, you know, like maybe his parents had that purpose, but he was raised by kind souls that taught him to be a good man, and that's why he is who he is today. So I didn't have a problem with that. I think it's very interesting, and I'm curious if we'll touch on that again in like the Supergirl movie, on like what her parents were like, or what, you know, details she knows, because she remembers Krypton. Clark does not. So I'm curious on what that future holds with that. Jimmy Olsen was also a great character in this. I find that actor like really comical and everything, but and he's kind of like got a little bit of an upgrade. Like Jimmy Olsen's always like the photographer, but in this he was like a full-on reporter. And even though his like crazy ex-girlfriend he thought was crazy, she was a smart cookie with her selfies. I liked that. I liked that smartness. I felt like this movie was very pro-pet. Of course you have Crypto, which was a menace, but I love him so much. So funny. I love it. But then like when everyone's evacuating Metropolis, everyone's taking their pets with them, and I was like I said to my dad, I was like, they're taking their pets with them. This movie's amazing. Because I always complain about that in movies. I'm like, where's your dogs? Where's your pets? One lady had a turtle. Awesome. Evacuate with your pets. Like, yeah, I love the dog. I don't think I expected the dog to be Kara's in the end, but no wonder he's like all crazy and everything, but I still love him. What a cutie pie. I did not expect like the Kara cameo. I knew she had been casted, and I was very excited for Millie to be Supergirl. I can totally see that, and she's definitely going to be like a different Supergirl from like Melissa or others, but I'm very curious for what she's going to bring. So Malik's character in this was so like emotional for me, because this like good person that wanted to help Superman because he understood that Superman was trying to help the people, and then it like backfired for him, and Lex took him, and that whole scene of him like trying to tell Superman it's okay, don't tell him anything, and like it was an honor for you to eat my food. Oh my god, I was not okay. And that's Lex's dark side. God, him playing Russian roulette with him and then being like, wow, I didn't expect it to go so fast. I was like, oh my god, that was just so sad. But I'm so glad that they like referenced Malik in the end, with like the Daily Planet having the article about him being a true hero. But God, that part was so tough. That part was tough. Some parts in this movie definitely reference, I feel like, and hint at real life things that are occurring in this world, which I appreciate because I think it needs more attention and it's things that I care about. So that was both emotional to see and good, in my opinion, to see with world affairs and what have you. And the kids calling for Superman and whatnot. It was just a very, like, heartwarming movie. Lots of, like, kids looking up to Superman, which is, like, always what Superman was, you know what I mean? He was just always, like, he was just, like, always the good guy for people to look up to. This movie definitely had, like, a lot of CG and, like, effects. I know they filmed the flying a little differently. Like, it wasn't on a green screen. It was on one of, like, the big monitor screen things. I'm not sure what it's called, but I'm sure that's easier to act on than a green screen. But lots of camera movements in the fight sequences, and it oddly enough wasn't too much for me. Sometimes when it does stuff like that, I get a little nauseous, especially in the theater, and I saw it in theater, obviously. But I didn't get that with this movie, so I don't know if it's how they did it or what the case was, but I didn't mind any of the CG or the special effects. So Ultraman, I had heard of that, like, type of story before, but, like, wasn't, like, an expert by any means. So when they revealed that it was Clark's clone, like, all I kept saying was that it was, like, Clark's Bucky version, because that's what he looked like to me. When he took off the mask, he looked like Bucky. But when he had the mask on, he reminded me of Black Noir from The Boys, like, black mask, no speaking type of vibe. So it went from Black Noir to Bucky in Superman form. That part was, like, a little hit or miss for me, because it was like Lex had, like, all these henchmen thing, meanwhile, like, he's doing his thing. I don't even know what that girl's name is. The chick that was with Lex, my bad. Not at all familiar with that character. And part of me thought that her little, like, magical thingy, they're not magical, they're, like, technology things, was interesting. And then, like, part of me thought that it was, like, overdone for her. I don't know. But he definitely, like, had, like, all these, like, little minions things while he was doing all his let's destroy Superman plans. But yeah, I said Superman saved kids and people. He saved a squirrel, which apparently some people online have a problem with. That's what you're gonna go to bat with? That he saved a squirrel? Come on now. Come on. I mean, like, overall, I think this movie was a great starting point. I look forward to more coming out of this DC world and more of this Superman, because I do think he did a really good job as Clark and Superman. I'm a fan of the more, like, bumbling Clark or, like, nerdy Clark, have you. Like, and he does kind of a moment that remind me of Christopher Reeve, because that's, like, my go-to Superman. In the original, like, Superman movie, when Clark is talking to Lois, he, like, is, like, he's, like, all hunched over as Clark, and then he, like, stands up straight as Superman. And he doesn't do that in this movie, but he changes his voice when he's, like, having the interview with Lois. He's like, all right, go on, Cronkite. And she's like, Superman. And he's like, Miss Lane. Like, the voice changes. I like that for Clark versus Superman, if you will. But yeah, so yeah, overall, this movie made me very happy. Laughs and emotions and all the feelings for this. I enjoyed it. Tell me what you thought in the comments. I don't know, I might have left something off I've only seen the movie once, so I apologize if I forgot to talk about anything, but you can leave it in the comments and I will reply to you. Tell me what you guys thought of the movie. Thank you so much for watching.